All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and look at um, some rate of change and growth. So this is section 212, and it's going to leave off very similar to what we did in the last class. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually start with something that we already did, and we're going to start by writing the equation for the pattern. So if you remember, the things that we need for this, the equation, if you remember, is y equals the growth times x plus what you started with. Okay, so if you remember, the start is our figure 0. Okay, so in this case, we're going to start at figure 0. Okay, and in this case, that's 2. And then the growth is how many tiles you get from one to the next. So we go from here to here, and that's plus 5. Okay, so as we increase the figure number by 1, right, we go up one figure from figure 0 to figure 1, we go up by 5 in terms of tiles. So the growth is 5. So the equation is y equals the growth times x plus what you start at. Okay, so now what we're going to do that's different from the last class is we're going to actually graph what we got in our table. Okay, so basically what we need to understand here is, you can see how this is labeled. The figure number down here, these are my x values. So the top one is going to be my x's, and then the number of tiles is my y value. So those are going to be my y's. Okay, so when my x is 0, my y is 2. So I'm going to be right there. Okay, when my x is 1, my y is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. My x is 2, my y is 12. 1, 2, let's go to 10, and then up 2 more. And then it's going to be, when my x is 3, my y is 17. Figure 3 has 17 tiles. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then when I have figure 4, it's got 22. There's 20, there's 22. Okay, so when I actually graph it, I need to draw a line through that. Okay, to represent it. Okay, meaning that we can actually figure out where it's going from here. So now what we're going to do is we graphed it. So now we're going to draw in the growth on the line. Okay, so basically it grows like this and then like this, right? It goes to the right, it went plus 1. Okay, and then it went from 2 to 7. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it went plus 5. I know the spaces, they're not the same size, right? Look how big this square is, right? But so this goes 1 this way, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way, right? And that's the same thing we had here, right? The y's go up by 5. It went up by 5, and the x's only went up by 1. Okay, so that's what I mean by drawing in the growth on the graph. So to the right one, up 5. To the right one, up 5. And it goes on forever and forever. All right, let's do another one. So you can see I got the same information here. I just got a different table. So in this case, we start with a 1. And our growth, let's see here. So we go up by 1 figure, and our number of tiles goes up by 3, up by 3, up by 1, right? So our growth is going to be 3. Okay, our 0 figure had 1 tile. Our first figure had 4 tiles, right, and so on. I know it's weird because we start counting from 0 and not for 1. So we're going to get y equals 3x, that's our growth, plus what we start with. So now let's graph this. So at 0, we're at 1. At figure 1, we're at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Figure 2, we're at 7 tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Figure 3, we're at 10 tiles. Figure 4, we're at 13. 1, 2, and 3. drawing our line again here. Right? And it continues on. And what's nice about this is we can guess what's going to happen, right? So if this thing keeps going up by 3, we can pretty much assume that, the fifth figure is going to have 16, right? And the sixth one's going to have 19. And I know I kind of drew this on here, but if I kind of follow this line, right, it keeps going to up. It's going to hit up here, right? And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So it makes sense, right? That's why we want to draw the graph, because it actually keeps on going, right? Keeps on going. So now let's draw this, how this is growing, okay? So we went 1 this way, plus 1, right? And then we're going to go up 1, 2, and this one went up plus 3. This one went plus 1, and then 1, 2, 3. Remember, they're not the same size, right? So when our x's go up by 1, our y's go up by 3. As the figure number increases by 1, the tile number increases by 3. All right, let's do one more of those real quick now that we kind of get in the pattern here. So here's another one. Okay. So you look at it, it looks pretty similar, right? This one starts at 1. So I'm going to call it figure 0 this time, but it's the same thing as it starts at 1, right? And this one increases by, it looks like, when we increase our figure number 1 by, this one goes up by 4, right? And then 4, so it goes up by 4. So this one is y equals 4x plus 1. Okay, so this one starts at the same place as the last one, but it grows by more. Okay, so let's graph it. So we start 0, 1, and then we have 1, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 3, 13. There's 10, 11, 12, 13. And then 4, 17. So there's 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cheat and see what 5 is. Not really cheating, but it goes up by 4. So that's going to be 21. So I'm going to see if that works. Let's see if it continues the line. So 5. There's 20, 21. Oh, yeah, it worked, right? It's going to continue lining up. All right. Just because we stopped at figure 4 doesn't mean that there's not going to be more, right? So then I'll draw my line. Oops, I missed a little bit, sorry. Okay, draw my line. And this goes to the right one, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Right? And is that true over here as well, right? To the right one, and then up 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces, right? So either way, it's going to work, okay? It's going to work. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at just finding slope of all. If I give you a line, this is our slope. This is what we're calling our rate of change. How much it goes to the right and how much it goes up. What we're going to do is we're going to call that slope or rate of change. All right, and that's what we've been looking at, really, believe it or not. This increase was really a rate of change.